Hello lads, and welcome to every single smallest fastest 3x3 piston door tutorial. This video is going to take a little while, and not all the tutorials are going to be in this video specifically, but I'm going to be doing a tutorial on all of these piston doors, starting with the smallest, and then moving on to the fastest ones, excluding like crazy ones like headless pistons and other things, because this is also from the spreadsheet. So in the last spreadsheet video, I did all the 1x1s and 2x2s, which there were so many of. And as you can see, there are just a couple more 3x3s than that. But that's not for right now. This video, we're going to be focusing on just the 56 blocks 3x3s. And you might be like, okay, well, isn't there just one definitive fastest 56 blocks 3x3? And, well, yes, there is, and it would be this one. But there are some glaring drawbacks to a couple of these because there's no like really satisfying solution yet to 56 blocks 3x3s. We have the fastest one that is like unrestricted, and then we have the one that's the fastest mobless one, but it uses crafters and is directional asterisk, and then we have this nice one that is neither, but it is the slowest of the three. So this one right here, it opens in 1 second and closes in 0.6 seconds, and it's by Helo or Ganymede. And this one is quite nice. The animation is acceptable, fairly fast. This door, somewhat of a kind of tragedy, also by Helo Ganymede. This door, it opens in 1.3 seconds and it closes in 0.75 seconds. And you can see it's quite heartbreaking because this last piston is it's so slow. But anyway, and then this one is by Soshi02, and they've made a tutorial on their channel, so I will not be making a tutorial on this door. I'll just be linking you straight to them. So this one is 1.16 plus as well. So the reason why I'm making this video is for all the survival nerds and or for people who just want to learn about the wiring or keep track of the smallest, fastest piston doors. So this is kind of why I included one with a shulker mob and one without, and one that's reliable. It's because, you know, if you're in survival, I don't really think it's going to be worth your time to go all the way to the end and bring back a shulker for this. But regardless, if that is something you want to do, I will show you how to build this door. So this is the materials you're going to need. This stuff down here is just for getting all the minecarts in place. So we're going to start with that. The minecarts are definitely the most annoying parts of this entire thing. And the chest is for like placing them properly. So we have all this stuff. Save the shulker for later. So our door frame is going to be offset one to the right in an 8 by 1 by 7 area. It's 7 blocks tall, yes. You have to dig down 2 blocks for the floor. And so your door frame is right here. So for the layout, we're going to have 3 sticky pistons like that, 2 sticky pistons like this, 2 more on the bottom, and then we're going to have 3 more right here. But those will be purely temporary because we need all of this room for the cart stack setup. Yay! So one thing that we need to take note of is that we need to stack 2 carts inside of this. And you can't really zero-tick repeaters with pistons into the cart stack. So that just has to be there when you place the carts originally. And that makes everything a complete nightmare. So we're just going to remove all this stuff, and we're going to move on with this. So the most efficient way that I've found to do this is something like so. Build this shape perpendicular to your door. Just place power rails on all of these. And then you want to place a minecart with furnace. And you just kind of want to place a couple of these and shove them further. And one thing that I found to help is you can grab a trap door or another piston, and then you can place it right here, and then you can use F3 and B to turn on hitboxes, which is very helpful to see where the minecarts are. And then you can kind of shove this minecart up here a little bit, and then once you can't reach it anymore, you have to place down another minecart, and then it's gonna like spaz out or whatever, and then we use this minecart to push the other one. Oh my goob. So as I was saying, we're going to use this minecart to push the other one. And you have to spawn it right here, otherwise it gets stuck on the observer. And you want to keep shoving these until this minecart on top is clipped into the repeater up here. As you see, this is well and duly clipped into the repeater. So now what you want to do is you want to grab a piston and then just push this up like so. And you want to leave that there for later. So now you have this piston, push this soul sand up, so this minecart is sitting up here inside of both this observer and this repeater. You can delete all of those, and you want to build another one of these setups right here. But this one's a lot easier because you don't actually have to do anything silly. You can just kind of shove this. You want to make sure it clears the block on the right. So just kind of keep banging your face into this observer until this minecart is up there. And then you're finally done slamming your head into walls. So you can remove these rails and you're going to end up with something like this. And this is interesting to say the least. Before you push these in, there's actually something important that you need to do to these minecarts, because what's going to be happening is it's going to be resting right here on this double extender. And this double extender is going to have its block spat out, or rather this piston, it's going to be an air block at some point. So we're going to push these into a chest like so. So when this piston spits out its block, these won't fall down. So place a chest right here, and then make sure not to move this observer. Place a piston here, power it with a lever or redstone block. Delete the piston first, so then this minecart is like sitting right here. And then you want to make sure there's a block underneath this, right here. You can place those down, and then you can shove this into here. Now I want to do the same thing for this minecart right here. Make sure you push it into the chest before you put it into the repeater. So do this, and now you can simply push it right here, and then you're done with this part. So that is the big cart stack. That's the hard part out of the way. You can replace all your other things, like so. Don't, well, you can't replace that block. You have to zero tick it in with a button. Sorry, those weren't included in the materials list. It's kind of hard to have foresight for this stuff. So now we have these carts, and next you want to bring your shulker into play. So you want to have like 3 or 4 rails like this. And I mean, if you already have your shulker in the minecart, that's like actually good. So let's grab our shulker. These new spawn eggs, I don't know what they all look like. Oh, there they are. They are not in order. So anyway, you want a regular minecart for this. So shulker right here, and just kind of, oh, unlucky. There we go. So you kind of have to shove that in there. And now we have our shulker. And actually another bonus reason, make sure you actually do this in the perpendicular direction. If you do it in the parallel direction, you might encounter some difficulties with these minecarts pushing out of the way. I'm not 100% sure on that. Anyway, before you drop this thing, don't drop it down actually. Don't do that. You want to make sure that it's actually in place first. So you want to push it with a piston like this. And one thing you actually want to do to make sure that this shulker right here gets clipped by this piston, because you can see it's a little bit outside the hitbox of this minecart, is your shulker is going to suffocate for 1 tick. So just do that and then shove it into the side here. And then once you have that, now you can drop it. And you can, don't verify that it works just yet. We have to build like one more thing. And what that is we need one of our wiring blocks, like so. Then you want to kind of build another one of these rail systems. Grab your last furnace minecart, and then do this, because minecarts that are pushed along a track like this, they kind of store which direction they were going, and they don't get shoved to the side. So that's really important, because we need to grab another chest, and then we want to push this into the chest. And drop it. So now we can actually test this thing and make sure it works. So I want to place a lever on top of this. You can see that when you pull it up or push it down, this pressure plate gets activated by the shulker. I don't really know why this works, but it does have something to do with that the shulker's hitbox kind of extends into here, and then the internal hitboxes of the piston head can grab it. Anyway, we want to place an observer right here, and then zero tick that in, like so. And the last block we have to zero tick is a pane, and I'll just be using a gray glass pane for this, and you want to zero tick it into where the shulker is. It won't suffocate because the pane's not solid. And then lastly, you want to place an observer here, and then a redstone lamp right here. And that is finally all of our double extender completed, so we can test that out right here. You can see it works. And now let's get the storage side. So what we're going to do first is get 2 pulses for that piston right there. Grab a redstone lamp again. You want to place it down here. You want to have a wiring block right there, and you're going to power this piston like so. And now, to power the storage piston, we're going to have a sticky piston facing downwards with an observer on its face, like so, and that'll actually do this bottom piston as well. And we also need an immovable to block this right here. So just grab an obsidian or a furnace and place it right there. So now you can see that this is going to work like so. Finally, we need to get these 2 pistons, and to achieve that, which is probably the hardest part of the door, we need to have a dropper right here. You can silence this if you have a minecart clipped into here, and then fill it with different items. Down into a block like so, and a sticky piston right here. And then to get this one, there's really nothing else you can do besides rely on luck, which works out here, and this piston right here will update that one. And we'll ignore all the other pulses. So there you go. That's how you build the fastest 56 blocks 3x3. Next up, I'm going to be showing you how to build this fastest Entityless 56 blocks 3x3 by Helo or Ganymede. And the animation on the opening is a little scuffed, but it's fine. It is directional, but I will show you why and how to fix it and how to avoid it. So there's like 3 different things you can do to stop it from happening. So your materials list is as follows. It's actually quite simple. I'm just going to move all of these into my hotbar because I don't need anything else. So bang. Now you want to find an 8x1x7 area. And you want to build your door frame offset to here. And in your F3 menu, if you pull it up, you have to be looking at this spot right here where it says towards -Z or towards -X. And this is the side where your double extender is going to have to be on, more or less, if you power it like one of the ways, because it can also be locational if you're not careful. So anyways, what's happening is these 3 top pistons right here, you need them to activate in a specific order, and the one with the double extender right here versus the single extender, you need to make sure that this side updates first. So one thing that you can do is, of course, look at which direction is negative, because the update order goes -X plus X, -Y plus Y, -Z plus Z. So the -X1 and the -Z1, which is this way, will update first. So if you want to build it, you have to make sure, like, in this direction, like, because this covers like all 4 directions, right? Because either if your door frame is like this or you rotate it 180 degrees, your door frame is still like this. So you want to make sure your double extender is on the -X side, and then that will ensure that it is not directional, because basically what's happening is we have like 2 observer chains like so, and they are going into 2 pistons that are opposing each other, and you can see the one on the left will fire first because this is the -X direction. And it can be locational if you're not careful, if you run like dust across all this, right? Because then you don't know which one is actually going to power first. It might still be the same one, we don't know. Let's test that. That's the same one. I'm not 100% sure. But one thing you can do that is entirely reliable is if you have a block right here, place your lever on it, and then have an instant updater like a rail, activate a rail like this, and that will make sure that this one updates first. but you have to be careful if you're wiring it up with dust, like something like this, is because you can't update this piston with this dust, because this dust block updates this piston further away, and it might update first. So you kind of have to be a little bit wary of that. So yeah, that's how you input the door and make sure it's not unreliable. So moving on to like the actual tutorial part, that's kind of why I suggested building this one, is because the unreliable stuff is kind of complicated. So this is your layout. I'm going to start off with the side with a double extender. I have 2 observers like so. And then we're going to go into this new crafter tech. You want 2 crafters like facing into each other like this. So you can see the mouth, I don't know, they're like facing into each other. And you want to place a redstone block in this one. It's probably the cheapest thing you can do. It's because when you flick this lever, you can see it kind of instantly crafts. So it crafts this into 9 redstone dust, and it goes in here, and then it goes back into a redstone block, all on the same game tick, because this observer is going to be powering this block first, and then this one, and it updates in this order. Oops, I broke that by accident. Oops, I broke that by accident. Okay. So this is going to be powering in that order. And one thing that's special about that is because the crafters are just, you know, normal instant updaters like note blocks or droppers. They don't actually make any noise, which is also a plus. And they have a very special property. When they craft, they have like a special crafting attribute, and it takes 9 game ticks for that to resolve. So that's very, very interesting. So you can basically get like an instant pulse here, like 9 game ticks apart. Look at that. That is so freaking cool. So anyway, moving on, the double extender will be gotten like that. And you're like, what? How does that do any kind of double extender? Well, it kind of does. The closing has an extra pulse. But if you look at the opening, you can see this thing does a 3 game tick pulse, and then it retracts like so. So what's going on? So if we look at this thing closely, we can see that these 3 observers right here are responsible for getting the 3 game tick pulse here. So when these retract, after 4 game ticks, this piston turns on from this 2 game tick pulse. But when this thing turns off, there's this right here. And this thing turns off also at 6 game ticks, exactly the same time as this. But this one is scheduled later because there is a crafter in between. And this works for any block, like a rail or anything, because when you have 2 observers like this one actually gets scheduled really quickly compared to anything that gets, you know, like powered like so. So you can see if you have 2 pistons like this and you update this one, the one on the left always wins. It's scheduled first. Oh my goob. So that will leave that on. And then we just have this thing to kind of grab it back. And then this will do the last pulse when this thing is done crafting. And the one glaring issue is that this thing pulls back its block, but we will deal with that in due time. For this side, to kind of match the timings, we're going to have another crafter circuit. Same thing kind of goes for this one. I just like to place them so their crafting top is on the same side. Then you want to place another redstone block in here, which I don't have. And in the top one this time for the same reason. This thing does the exact same thing, you know. Place an immovable block right here, and then this is the same as the other one. And this is misplaced. I'm very silly. So make sure that it looks like this. And this powers this side piston, and then the 2 pulses to here will power all this stuff. So now we can see, if we do this, and then move this piston right here, the door will open. So that's nice. So now all we have to do, right, is make sure that this piston like doesn't go out of whack on the closing, and then power this one. Surely that won't be too difficult, right? It is. It always is. So the very nice and simple solution is to power this on the closing. Very simple. So this wall kind of detects when this block gets pulled away because it doesn't connect with the top anymore. It's an attribute that you can see in the F3 menu, or at least you used to be able to. I don't know what they did with that. And then simply 2 observers like this. This solution pains me, like a lot. I do not like this. It makes me uncomfortable. But so far, this is the only way that's been found. I kind of want to issue a challenge to all my viewers. we want to make this better. Like, I'm talking maybe like 0.9 seconds opening-ish, maybe, around. So we have a few ideas. So these are the two closest attempts so far. We have something like this, and this piston, it will pull away this right here, and then simply put, we have this right here, and that powers the bottom piston. This is really great and all, and it works just fine, but you need an immovable block right here. LOL! So, you can see if I break this, you can see the opening will break on the last pulse because this thing goes up, of course. So you need an immovable on top. So if you can find a way to like not have that happen, that would be great. And then there is actually a way to not have that happen. It is kind of to have this thing with a water bucket right here and mangrove roots. And all you really need is this piston to get QC'd instantly from this mangrove roots. And then if you do that, everything works just fine. So anyway, that is the fastest Entityless 56 blocks 3x3. Now the last one is 56 blocks with a different layout by Soji02. They have a very nice tutorial on their channel, so I will not be doing a tutorial on this one. Yeah, that is it for today's video. This is just all the 56 blocks 3x3s, and if you have anything, like if you make any progress on this, please like join my Discord server and show me, because I won't believe you unless I see proof that someone managed to make this thing faster. That would be really nice. I would really appreciate that. I hope you all enjoyed this shulker cart tutorial, and good luck on trying to make this thing faster. Anyway, see y'all.